So it is make your mind up time. No, I'm not talking about Bucks Fizz at the Eurovision Song Contest, but I am talking Europe. It is time tomorrow for the United Kingdom's referendum on membership of the European Union. Tomorrow, for those who may not have known, it's always very difficult to know exactly what kind of news and especially political stuff is being reported around the world. For those who do not know, tomorrow, Thursday, the 23rd of June 2016, the registered voters in the United Kingdom will go to the polls and vote on whether to remain a part of the European Union. Now, the campaigning has been going on for around about 6 to 8 weeks, with a lot of stuff, a lot of rhetoric being put out by both sides. I have to say, though, in my opinion, there's not been a real huge amount of absolute concrete figures that have been really available for the public to look at. A lot of arguments, though, have been made by both the Remain and Exit campaigns. A lot of it, of course, talking about the very basic stuff, about employment, about business, about economy, about immigration, about culture, about a lot of things. I mean, it's so complicated. There's so many matters, so many things to consider in this. I do genuinely feel that some of the general public will be having or have had a very difficult time in actually making their minds up on which way to vote. And I know there may even be some people tomorrow who may not actually end up voting because they're really not sure about which way to vote. And obviously, these kind of arguments, take the employment and business, for example. Both sides have been arguing about whether whether we remain or whether we exit, whether companies would be willing to do business with or in the United Kingdom, aka to have their factories, their shops, their businesses in whatever form or fashion in the UK, or to deal with the UK, to sell their goods to the UK or import stuff from the UK. Both sides, of course, have been arguing about whether different companies would be willing to be involved in the UK in any way, if we were to exit or remain as part of the European Union. And obviously that all kind of trickles down to employment. If businesses were not willing to do business with the UK, if we did leave, then obviously people would lose their jobs, they'd have less money, they may, they may end up in very bad personal situations, maybe lose their house if they've got heavy mortgages, or they can't pay their rent, and obviously a whole lot of very, well, to be honest, there's no other word to describe it, very scary arguments by both sides, and again, it's very difficult because there's so many subjects, so many things going on, so many arguments put forward by both the Leave and Remain campaigns. I've looked at some of them to make good points. Both of them, both campaigns have made some good points throughout the 6 to 8 week campaigning, and it's again, I'm feeling it's very, very difficult for the general public. It's certainly been a little bit difficult for me to make minds up to really decide, okay, if we want to vote, and if we're thinking, yeah, I'm definitely leaning more towards one side than the other, and that's where I'm probably going to vote for. As I said, some people may not vote because they may not be able to make their minds up, and that's fine. I would urge people to try and vote one way if they can, but again, if you're not, that's the difficult thing. There's so much rhetoric, so many arguments being thrown about that it's very, very difficult, in my opinion, for a lot of the general public to really make up their minds, because there's different arguments about whether businesses will do business within or in the UK, whether the UK economy will suffer, about expenses for families and people in the UK. It's been a lot of a lot of very complicated things have been talked about, and obviously different stances from both sides has led, I think, to a lot of people really struggling to make up their minds. Uh, you know, Considering all this, I have to say that it's. I could sit here and bring up talk about different aspects, about the National Health Service, about the economy, about finances, and obviously I'm not an absolute political expert by no means. Am I an expert? But I said both sides made good arguments, and it's all this stuff that I think it is going to be very difficult for the general public to really make up their minds to, in order for them to decide, yes, I'm going to vote one way or another, which obviously will affect the result tomorrow. One of the things that really I feel that it hurts the Remain campaign, well, no, not the Remain campaign, it hurts the Exit campaign, is two of the guys involved in the Exit campaign. Now, I don't like them personally. And obviously, again, people are welcome to their opinions. And if you look to, I've said it before here on YouTube, if you really have looked into the evidence of something, an argument like this, like to whether to leave or remain the Europe, to leave or to remain as part of the European Union, have you looked at different evidence and different arguments, and you've genuinely looked at it, you've genuinely made up your minds, then obviously you're entitled to that opinion. But one of the things that have hurt the Leave campaign, I think, is two of the guys that have been involved or are involved in that campaign. That's Boris Johnson, the former mayor of London, and Nigel Farage, who is the leader of UKIP, the UK Independence Party. Now, Boris Johnson is, to be honest, a figure of fun. He's mocked a lot on the satirical television and radio shows. A lot of impressionists do impressions of him. He's a bit of a bumbling idiot, in my opinion. He seems to be more of a figurehead, and obviously not living in London, I don't know how he's affected the place really, but he's quite a big figure of fun. He's not taken hugely seriously. He's not really. Certainly, I don't think he is. Certainly, in my opinion, I don't take him seriously as a politician. I don't take really a lot of his views seriously. He's kind of born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Went to, I think it was Cambridge. Really had the advantages in life, and he's not the highest of IQ. I don't want to say that. I don't think he is in any way mentally incapable or limited, but he hasn't got the highest of IQ. That's certainly what appears to me. That's the appearance that I take from Boris Johnson. That's my opinion. Again, it's all my opinion. He's not the smartest. He's not the sharpest knife in the drawer. That's certainly my opinion. And Nigel Farage, the leader of UKIP, UK Independence Party, which is, in my view, an extremely racist party. They're certainly very much against a multicultural UK, a multicultural society anywhere, basically. I think. So it really hurts them. The Leave campaign. I think that those two guys are kind of looks like spearheading that campaign, which is yet another one of the reasons which I've decided to vote tomorrow to Remain. Because, to be honest, one of the reasons that I've decided to vote Remain is, of course, there's been, again, good points from both sides, but I understand that there's, the European Union isn't in the greatest shape. There is problems. There's problems. I mean, we were actually at work. I was at a work program uh, course thing on Monday. It's part of a long course, but during the break, me and a couple of the guys that were there, some of the rest of them had gone out for smoking, use the facilities and whatever. But we were talking about European Union campaign, because it's been a hell of a lot of coverage on the UK news, and we were talking about some of the stuff about the European Union, and there's a hell of a lot of stuff, a lot of flaws in it, a lot of things about the laws being imposed on member countries, about the amount of finances that go around. I mean, figures like 350 million that it's costing the UK. I think it's like something like every month. Uh, we get some of it back apparently. We get at least about a third or so of that back at minimum. I think over that month, and we get there's a different cut again. There's not been a huge amount of concrete facts given to us to peruse, to look at during this campaign, which again has hurt both sides, I think. But we were talking about some of the flaws and some of the things wrong with the way that European Union is running. My opinion is that why we should remain is because we need to be inside of the European Union to affect change. To affect changes to improve to the way the European Union is run, the way that laws are handed down, the ways the laws are made. In my opinion, I think we need to remain a part of the European Union to affect and try and influence the way the European Union is run. Because if we exit, there is going to be, and I know it's a very, very basic argument, there's quite a bit more that I've looked at, but if we exit the European Union, I know we're not going to get completely ignored. The UK's views are not going to be completely ignored, but we're not going to be a member of the European Union, and so they're going to make decisions that will affect the world and affect us in very weird and wonderful ways. That if we're not part of the European Union, we're going to get, they're going to make decisions that will eventually affect the way that we can do business with European Union members, or the movement of people, and a lot of the decisions, they'll go off in one direction, where we may want them to go off. We may want them to go down route one. The rest of them may want to go down route two. But even if the European Union decides, okay, we're going to go down route two, I think we should be involved. We should be a member of the European Union to at least to have our opinion acknowledged, to try and influence. Okay, we'll go down route two, but we'll make a little bit of a change in our navigation of the way we're going to do things. It's things like that, and basic decisions like that I think is the reason why we should remain as part of the European Union. I don't think we should throw away all the hard work that we've given up over this, about 70 odd years, and I know there's hundreds of years of history behind Europe and the different European countries. Not all of it good, of course. Different wars, 100-Year War, World War One and Two, and everything. And avoiding that kind of atmosphere as well is one of the reasons. Another reason why I think we should remain as part of the European Union, because we don't want to go down that route. We don't want to strain friendships. We don't want to strain relations, and I think that we're better being a part of the process than really being than removing ourselves and letting really just hoping that the European Union makes the right decisions and goes down the right routes, and decides to do things the right way, rather than trying to be a part of it all and trying to steer the ship of the European Union to calm waters. That we can be a part of the decision making process, rather than have things affecting us like business and economy. And there's a lot of those British people that go on holiday to Europe all over every year, and obviously I think that a lot of that will affect because I could see having to pay out for visas and different different costs affecting people as well. So I think it's better for Europe, for the UK to be a part of the decision-making process rather than removing ourselves and really erasing all the hard work that we've done over the past about 70 years. Um, I don't think it's worth it. Just to supposedly stand up for ourselves. I don't think that we really should, make that move to leave. I think we should remain because I think again I don't think it's very good for the direction of Europe for us to leave. Obviously the UK have been so influential around the world for centuries, good and bad. Um, I think it would be just the absolute wrong decision. I think I'm not saying our influence is needed. I'm not saying our influence is essential, but uh, you know, I think we need to have our influence in Europe. We need to, again, if not, steer different countries in the direction that we want them to go in. At least, you know, we want them to value our friendship. We want to be with good relations to the different European countries. So situations like the world wars and everything is avoided as much as possible, and so that we can act together in various things, terrorism and everything like that. And we want to do a video about divisiveness in the world tomorrow, but I just feel that we're better off having our influence inside Europe rather than removing ourselves out with the European Union and really kind of hoping and praying and having our fingers crossed that the European Union will make the right decisions and go down the right paths. And you know, I'm not saying we would lead to the breakup of the European Union and a return to almost a medieval kind of where each country stands on its own, but that I would not like to see us, kind of start going down that route. I think it's a bad, bad way to go down. That you know, the UK again. I think the UK needs to remain a part of the European Union. We need to have this. If we want to change Europe, which a lot of people have been talking about, we need to change it from within. We need to actually be a part of the decision making process, to be a part of forming the way that Europe moves forward. I think that is essential. So tomorrow we will be voting in the European referendum. Again, tomorrow, Thursday, 23rd of June 2016. Polls are open 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. I honestly think that it'll be a bit of a later decision. Some of the television channels, they've been claiming in their timeline for their advertising their programs. I know some of them are on air at 9 p.m., which is an hour before the polls close, of course. Some of them are claiming that it looks like they're thinking it'll be an early, quite a relatively early declaration. I'm not so sure. I'm not entirely sure of when exactly the declaration will be made. I think, to be honest, very quickly, I think I think the UK is leaning, hopefully, in my opinion, towards remaining as part of the European Union. Again, for so many other different reasons, rather than the ones I've talked about. But I don't want to go too much. I'm not sure exactly how much you can say on a public forum right now. I think you can safe to say pretty much everything. But I think UK right now is leaning towards remain. I think we will remain in the European Union, which I think is good. Again, it's a good thing. But I think it'll be at the early hours of Friday morning till we get the decision. Obviously, I'm also interested in the statistics and the makeup of the results, which areas voted yes, which area voted to remain, which areas vote to exit, and obviously what the overall makeup of the votes will be tomorrow. And I'll certainly make a video Friday, probably some point on Friday. I'll have to do it Friday because I'm busy the weekend, but I'll definitely try and do one certainly Friday or maybe sometime during Saturday at the latest, talking about the results. But again, tomorrow is the European referendum. Hopefully people will vote if they can make up their minds one way or other. I would urge people to vote because it's a major decision, and I look forward to seeing how the people of the UK actually vote and see whether by this time on Friday we will either be remaining with or exiting the European Union.